Hello and welcome back to Concert Critiques in Cars with Emily. So this show was at Merriweather Pavilion, and it was Florence and the Machine as the headliner, and then a band called Blood Orange was the opener. So getting there was actually pretty easy. There wasn't a lot of traffic. I thought maybe 29 would be a little bit more congested, especially because we left a little bit early to get dinner. So normally I probably would have left at like 6:30. The show started at 7:30. But we ended up leaving at like 6-ish. So I thought maybe that it would be like a little bit more crowded and congested. But honestly, getting there was fine. Parking, the lot was pretty empty. Of course, now I am dead stopped in the parking lot on the way out. So that's not super great. But it is kind of nice because now I get to spend more time focusing on you instead of the road. All right, so let's get into the show. So we got there like pretty much right at 7:30. And so Blood Orange started, and the music to the first song was actually pretty good, and then the lead singer started singing, and it was just like pretty much downhill. It was like elevator-y music, like the way that he sang, so I didn't really love that. There was definitely a time in the set, like the fourth song was actually pretty good. Then he played a song on the piano, which I really liked, and then even a song that started with the female lead singer. I really liked like the music in the bridge at that point, like. So that like 4, 5, and 6, that like section, maybe like between minute 15 and 30, was actually pretty solid. But then after that, it just, I mean, like the female singer wasn't like that great. She seemed really pitchy. Like sometimes she hit the note correctly and sometimes she really couldn't. Like the music style, like the singing style just changed so much and just so randomly. Like it would be like kind of like a rap song and then kind of like an like smooth jazz song. I mean, the second song opened with a pretty cool saxophone, so that was pretty sweet. And like towards the end, there was definitely some saxophone that I really did appreciate and like, but for the most part, overall, it was definitely, I liked the music, and then the minute the singing started, it just kind of fell apart for me. So yeah, so I was not a huge fan, and the fact that they played for 55 minutes was just way too long for a band that no one really knew, nor did they seem that interested in listening to. So yeah, so that was definitely not a highlight. That was definitely a low light of the show for me. But fortunately, I didn't come to see them. I went to go see Florence and the Machine, so that was why I was there, and actually gave me a chance to explore the VIP section of Merriweather for the first time, because normally I wouldn't have gone up there. So there were some benefits. Anyway, so let's get into Florence. So first of all, their set was pretty cool. It's very elaborate. They definitely had it like all set up before the show even started, and so it was pretty cool in and of itself. So of course they come out and it's all this big deal, and she started singing a song that I didn't know, but it was still like just kind of like, you're like, oh my god, I'm listening to like her voice. It's so like just powerful and just wonderful, and so that was just cool just to hear her sing. Any song really was pretty interesting, and of course, you know, the first song is pretty key in a concert, and I thought it was well done, and even though I didn't know it, it definitely got me interested and intrigued and excited for what was to come. The second song was The Hunger, so that was pretty fun, and it was awesome because I knew it, so I really liked that, and I think the verses of that song were particularly of interest. Like I just like that faster paced like movement of the lyrics was just so good. Then after that, she played Ship to Wreck, which was fantastic. That was a really like awesome song. And I just like also love how, so when she like wasn't singing, even when she was singing, she was like dancing the whole time, and it was like that super fun, like I'm pretending I'm a ballerina in my bathroom sort of a dance. So I like just loved that she just like kind of went for it, and she definitely encouraged the crowd a couple times to go for it as well. So yeah, so that was really cool. She did play like a slower song I didn't really know, and then oh my gosh, I cannot think of it. Oh my gosh, okay. So then after like a couple songs I didn't know, she played Dog Days Are Over, and it was like the highlight of the show for me, like hands down, no question. So during the bridge part, she like kind of stopped singing the song, and then the band was still playing that beat for the bridge, and she was talking over it, and she like said all these like nice things, and So at one point she made the crowd hug each other, and you had to hug a stranger. So the guy in front of me, you had to hug a stranger and say I love you to this stranger. So the guy in front of me hugged me and said that he loved me, and then the girl next to me also hugged me and said that she loved me. So it was kind of like a random fun thing. Sometimes I don't love when bands do that, but tonight it was fine. And so then like towards the end of that extended bridge where she's talking to the crowd and kind of getting them involved, and she said, when I say the word run, you guys have to jump for as long and as high as you can. And so of course, like, you get back into the end of the song and the whole crowd was just moving, and it was just such a fantastic way to end that song. Really loved that choice. The only thing I wish is that was the last song of the show, because I'm still like talking about it and freaking out about it. So definitely would have liked to actually see that at the end of the show instead of, closer towards the beginning. But after that, she played a slower song that I didn't really know. So that was like almost like a nosedive into the lower end for me, because I was like, you just had me on such a high and now I don't know the song. But then after that song, she played the song from Game of Thrones, which she dedicated to Arya. So I thought that was kind of cool. And it was just like cool to hear like this powerful, incredible voice play that song. Not like I knew the lyrics or anything, but I definitely recognized the first part. So it was just like cool to hear her voice singing that song. And then after that, it was pretty much a solid stint of songs that I did not know. But again, it was like such great singing and movement, and it was just like so exciting. So then towards the end of the first part of the set, so there was one song where she just like started off like as a slower song, and then she ended up running into the crowd, so off the stage and like up the seated part and like across the seated part and then up to where the lawn was, and she was like kind of like standing at the lawn barricade for quite some time, and then she came back down and then went like back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and then back down. Like, security couldn't keep up with her, the cameras couldn't keep up with her. I mean, she was just like singing and running, and it was just like incredible. And then right after that, she didn't even get back on the stage. So then the next song she started, she just was at the barricade in front of the pit. And she like stood there for a really long time, and she like hugged people, let people like touch her hair and put her head against people's heads, and someone gave her a little like flower crown thing, so she wore that for a while until she was back on stage and it fell off her head because she was rocking out so hard. So yeah, like super incredible. Like, didn't know either of those songs, and those like moments at that show were just like so fantastic, and it was really cool. So I really liked the fact that, even towards the end of the show, she was super, literally just running back and forth at one point, singing the chorus to that song, and then just went back down. Like, it was just so crazy and so cool, that, she can do that, and that it was like, made the show super, super special. So then after that, they went off the stage and they came back for their encore, and, so they played. So she kind of like came out and almost did like a spoken word. I don't even know if it's actually a song, but it was like the first two lines were like a little bit like, you were like, wait, did she just say that? Like, it was about like happiness and how like being happy is boring. So I don't know, it was just like kind of interesting. And then it made me want to listen to the rest of the lyrics to that one part. And it definitely like wasn't a full like 4-minute song. It was fairly short, but it was definitely interesting. And then she played, another song that I did not know. What did she do during it? I can't remember right now. So then at the flags, was that not for she? Oh no, I remember what happened in that song. Okay, so this confetti starts coming out, and normally at a show when confetti comes out, it's like when you get like that whole like one big push of confetti, and then it all falls down. But this confetti just like came slowly. So like as she's singing this song, you see like these like little pieces of confetti kind of like start to fall, almost like you were like on a windy day outside in the fall time, right? Like, and it's just like these like little tiny papers. It was actually a pretty cool effect. I really liked that. So then in the next song, which was Shake It Off, which I knew, it was cool because then they had even more confetti, and that was like more of like a solid, like we're just gonna like blow confetti and it's all gonna fall. But yeah, so it was pretty neat. I liked that. Like that was just like a little bit of confetti for that second to last song, and then they played that final song. But even like Shake It Up, don't get me wrong, super fun, love that song. But just knowing that Dog Days Are Over could have been at that point in the show was like just not, it just so took away because that song was so good and I just really loved being like in that moment during that song, and just everyone was involved and everyone was so excited about it. And even though everyone knew Shake It Up, you just, I don't know, you didn't get that same feeling. What did I forget? I don't know. Hopefully nothing too super major. Although she did sing a song at one point. She did explain the meaning to a song. So, Patti Smith is one of her idols, I guess. And so she was talking about like women in America and how we deserve more and how like men can be like terrible, and how the song was kind of like in two different parts. Like one part where she's just talking about how much she loves Patti, which she says the name in the song. And then she's like, the middle part was really about like men in general. And like, so don't like, it was just bad. And like, so that's like just whatever. And then the last part, she's like, and then I come back to loving Patti. But it was just like an interesting song for sure, because it kind of took you through like these three different parts. It was like, you had this definite Patti part where she actually says the name, then you have this part where it's like, yeah, boys stink and it's terrible, and then you kind of have this end part that doesn't really reflect the beginning. You do get that sense that it belongs to the beginning, but it wasn't so like, oh, I'm just going to repeat the beginning again, that you were like, okay, so it was like beginning, middle part that's not the same, and then end. It was literally like beginning, middle, and unique end. So I did really, really like that song as well, even though I didn't know it going into the show. Okay, score. Well, the first band was pretty not great. The fact that I didn't even care if I was there to see the whole set was speaks volumes of how low that score is going to be. But then of course you have the like complete opposite, where Florence is like just so amazing, and no matter what song you play, I mean, she could have sang the alphabet and I think I would have just been totally blown away. See, this is hard. It's hard when shows do that, because at least when you like have a generally good band with a generally good band, you kind of know where the score is going. This is really hard, because if it was just based on the first band, I probably would have given this concert like a 2.0, maybe a 2.53. But Florence and the Machine, if it was just Florence and the Machine, I probably would have given her like an 8.5 or like a 9.0. So like, how do you, I can't give her a 5.5. That's not fair. Gosh, I don't know. I think I'm going to give this one a 7.0. I think that is as fair as I can make it. Florence and the Machine was really good, although I do wish she would have ended with Dog Days Are Gone. Or over, and I wish that she would have kind of saved more of her bigger hits towards the end. And then the first band was just so bad. What did I say? 7.0? Yeah, okay, 7.0. So let me know if you agree, disagree. Were you there? Did you have a good time? Were you not there? Did you want to go? Let me know what you think. Comment, like, subscribe, and I will see you guys on Thursday. Bye.